What's going on, guys? Luke22SV here, back with the 16th round of the Mick Schumacher career mode. We're here for the Russian Grand Prix, going straight into the qualifying session 4 to this weekend. Not any upgrades to show because we're just focusing on next season's package at the moment, not really focusing on this season. We're just making sure we get all the right parts ready and adjusted for next season, hoping to jump up the order a bit. Currently about 6th or 7th, we're going to be slipping down the order towards the end of the season as well. Just because we're looking towards next season, all the other teams are still upgrading, so we'll be slipping down the order. But coming into Russia, we've got a good car for this weekend. We should be about thereabouts. Again, we're going to be continuing this fight with Haas. We closed in on Haas a lot in the last race, and thanks to myself and my teammate getting some valuable points for the team. Now right in this battle with Haas, and could even catch Force India if we carry on scoring points. But going into Russia, a strong track for us as well. The DRS Open coming towards turn 1. It's a good track for me in personal as well, because I tend to go well around here on career modes, particularly in qualifying. But here we are then on my only lap that I set in this session, because I was just really comfortable with the car. I'm really comfortable with the first lap that I set. Decided that I would end the session with it, and here it is at the moment. Just coming through sector 1 and sector 2. A lot of tarmac runoff areas. It's not the most exciting track in real life, but it wouldn't be too bad if we got rid of the track on the calendar and replaced it with Turkey or something like that. But Sergio Perez then going fastest at the moment. We're looking quite strong in our Sauber. With only just a few races left this season. We've got Russia, we've got Japan, we've got Mexico, we've got USA before Mexico, we've got Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi, with a few strong tracks and a few weak tracks for me. USA is one of my weakest tracks. I do not enjoy Abu Dhabi too much, and the AI seem a bit strong around Brazil as well. But coming towards the end of this lap, we're looking good to go ahead of Perez at this stage. A nice little flowing track to drive on, but not a very exciting one to watch on TV. Definitely is what the Russian track is like. But now we come around the last corner, we go straight into pole position, provisional pole position, ahead of Perez, ahead of Gasly. We end the session there, and that is going to be P5. So we are ahead of Red Bull, and our teammate is in 10th as well. So both the Saubers, I think this might be our altogether best qualifying, with both Saubers in the top 10. Leclerc doing well. Magnussen is in 9th, and Grosjean is a bit further down the order as well. So he's in 11th. So Haas still looking quite strong around here. So we just got to make sure we got to score as many points as possible in the race and try and get ahead of them and outscore them this season. That would be a huge achievement for the Sauber team. So we move on into the race for the Russian Grand Prix, round 16 of the championship. It's been a topsy-turvy championship so far, but we're picking up a bit of form in recent races. We scored in Singapore, we scored in Italy, and we would have scored in Belgium if it wasn't for Stoffel Van Dorn. We scored in Hungary, we scored in Germany, and that's the start of a real good run. But Ferrari looking good round here, particularly with Vettel and Raikkonen on the front row, with Hamilton, Bottas on row 2, ourselves and Verstappen on row 3, and Ricardo Perez looking good. Magnussen and our teammate Grosjean. Renault starting to slip down a little bit in recent races, haven't really looked too strong. Williams on row 8, so that's a really good qualifying for them, but Alonso and Hartley not looking too fresh in qualifying. But now then, we'll move on to the race for the Russian Grand Prix. What can we do from P5? We'll find out then as we move on to the lights for the start of the race. And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a fairly good start, fairly good launch. But then as soon as we get into the next gears, Verstappen's now looking to get alongside us. He is alongside us as we're towards turn 2, officially turn 2, but it is pretty much turn 1. As Verstappen goes down the inside and we go down the inside of Bottas, and we're just braking so late, but pulls it off and gets ahead of Bottas and gets ahead of Vettel as well. So Vettel, it was P1, now he's down. He's had an awful start, just like in Germany. He tends to have poor lap ones, quite opposite to real life when Vettel starts on pole. But P3 then, we've gained 2 positions, and we're currently on a podium position at the moment. It should be a huge result if we could stay here, but we've just got a long race left to go if we want to achieve that. And we're looking quite good at this stage, actually keeping up with Raikkonen and Hamilton, who's managed to move into the lead with Verstappen in P4 and Bottas and Vettel behind him. But Verstappen himself has made some good places already. So a good start for us as we head towards the end of lap 1 in P3. So very good stuff can we do though, because anything can happen as we have seen in previous races. But now then we'll move towards the end of this lap with Verstappen looking to probably overtake us now, but because Sauber Alfa Romeo is still a long way off the top 3, so we're doing really well to actually get the car that high. But it's quite easy to gain time in qualifying as it is in the race. But moving on to the replay then, you can see Vettel on pole, Raikkonen second, Hamilton third, Bottas getting away a bit slowly there. But Hamilton getting a good start and Raikkonen getting a better start than Vettel. So Raikkonen's already taking a lead here at this stage. Hamilton's now getting past him. Bottas is alongside him. Hamilton, there you go, moves straight into the lead. So a great start for Hamilton as we side by side with Vettel. He gets bogged down and Ricciardo's also there as well. So there's 3 abreast coming around the next few corners. But it looks like Vettel's actually got out on top of that. Bottas is behind and Ricciardo's had to settle for P7. But Hamilton leading then from Raikkonen, from myself, and then from Max Verstappen at the end of lap 1 with Vettel P5 and Bottas P6, Ricciardo P7, and it looks like Sergio Perez is P8. I'm not sure where the whereabouts of my teammate are at this stage. And now then, we're moving on to the end of lap 2. We're still in P3. Nothing has really changed. So again, it's one of those tracks that can provide a boring race as well. That's what we would really honestly like, to be honest. But with Verstappen and Vettel, all these faster cars raining down behind us, we're going to expect to be defending a lot from these guys. Hamilton then followed by Raikkonen and ourselves and Verstappen and Vettel and Bottas, and we've got DRS activated on this lap because it's lap 3. And then Verstappen then looking to the inside to make a move, and he gets ahead, but we get to the outside and we get the better line out of turn 1 and we stay ahead from now. But now Verstappen is now looking to the outside around this long swooping left-hander, but Vettel then gets alongside Verstappen, and Vettel now looks to be the one making the overtake, and Vettel gets past Verstappen, and now he's looking to get past myself as we head towards the next corner. There's Vettel nudging ahead, and Vettel pulling off a great move there. 2 overtakes in a few corners for Vettel is exactly what he needed to get back into the position he wants to be in, which is P3. We're P4, we're looking to get ahead of Vettel again. We're still right behind him, and we're going to have DRS around this corner. So Vettel maybe played it a bit too early to overtake us, because now we're tucked up right behind his gearbox, and with a perfect opportunity to get DRS. Can we get back past Sebastian Vettel towards the end of this corner? And yes, we can. We get alongside Sebastian Vettel as Bottas is looking to get past Verstappen. We are ahead of Vettel and Verstappen as we head into the next corner. So loving that. Back into P3. Vettel's going to be frustrated and looking to get back into P3 again. He's not going to be able to chase Raikkonen and Hamilton down now, which is what he would have hoped to have done had he got past us the first time. But heading towards the end of lap 3, we're now ahead of Vettel, and heading on to lap 4 with Vettel behind us again with Verstappen and Bottas. We've got one of each of the top 3 teams behind us. As you can see, Perez is behind us as well in the distance. I think Leclerc is behind Perez. But now they're heading towards the end of lap 4. We're on the back straight again with Vettel is looking to overtake us. This is what we did to him on the last lap. But now Vettel is the man with DRS. He's the man that's going to be looking to make the overtake. Goes to the outside. He's ahead as we head into the corner, but we break a little bit later. We're looking to defend. We're keeping ahead of him, but Vettel getting his nose ahead is battling really well with us at the moment. Who could be our future teammate if we impress Ferrari enough. But we stay ahead of him for now, and we head towards the pit lane to pit. And we're always one of the early pitters as well. Maybe because we overuse our tyres in qualifying compared to the AI. But we are now pitting. We got a clear pit lane, which is always what we like as well. It doesn't really matter because these tyres can go a long way anyway. The ultra soft should be able to go to the end no matter what lap you pit on around here. So we're going to be pitting on lap 4 to move onto the ultra soft tyres from the hyper soft tyres, hoping to get a little bit of an undercut. But it's a bit of touch and go whether we will be able to stay in front of Vettel, because obviously Vettel's got the faster car, so in effect he really should be able to stay ahead of us, and Verstappen and Bottas should be able to get ahead of us as well. Even if they stay out on their hypersofts for a bit longer, we're not likely to gain too much time. We're going to be on cold ultra softs, but they're going to be fresh tyres, so hopefully we can push a little bit further to stay ahead of these guys. But now then, we're moving on to lap 7. All the guys have made their pit stops. So we got Raikkonen, who's only just ahead of us, so we've managed to keep a good distance between ourselves and Raikkonen. Hamilton's now pulled a little bit further into the lead, which is great for a championship challenge. But now then, Vettel, who has rejoined behind us, is now looking to get back past us, and indeed into the DRS zone. He goes ahead of us, but we hang it around the outside, but get it a bit wide, so we can't stay ahead of Vettel. We'll have to concede the podium position to Vettel, which is disappointing, but it was only a matter of time before Vettel did eventually make the move. We're down to P4 in this race. It's just disappointing, but we've got 12 points and we're looking to gain a lot on the Haas team, which is exactly what we're fighting with. So we don't really need to pick our fights with Ferraris and get involved with them. We need to really fight on getting as many points as possible and keeping, getting ahead of the Haas at the moment, because Haas are looking to do the same. Hopefully we'll get more resource points. I'm not sure if that actually is a thing, if your resource points are based on where you finish in a championship. But if we do finish ahead of them, hopefully we'll get more resource points. But now then, we're coming back at Vettel, and we're looking to go down the inside. We're locking up, almost making contact with Vettel, but again, getting very close to him. And he's not exactly getting away from us, because we get DRS and it keeps us close to him. And Bottas isn't really threatening us at the moment, so Bottas is now ahead of Verstappen. But we are behind Vettel, and we're not actually fully too far away from him yet. So we can get DRS here on Sebastian Vettel, and that could actually allow us to get alongside him and make another overtake. But then, here we go then. Can we get past Vettel? It's a poor exit out of that corner. We get DRS wide open, and we're now looking to close in on Vettel, but he looks too far away. But there's a problem.
You'll have to come in so we can try and attempt to fix.
And that's a complete disaster. DRS is stuck open all of a sudden, and that's going to completely change the race for us. He's told us to pit as well, our engineer, but we're going to stay out because at the moment it doesn't feel too bad. Feels like we can carry on without the DRS, having to pit with it, which is complete opposite to real life. I think it would be a race-ending thing if it happened in real life, if it stayed open. But we're coming around the last corner, and we can feel the car is not feeling too sharp, and Vettel's now going to start pulling away to head towards turn 1. We got lap 9, so we got 4 laps left. Well, 5 laps left. I think this might be lap 9, lap 10, lap 11. Yeah, 4 laps left of this race. As we come around turn 1 and turn 2, the DRS is still open at this point, so we're coming around here, and it's going to be really hard to carry the car around to get out of shape. And then we come into this corner, and the back end just goes away, and we're in a spin, and it's a complete disaster. And Bottas gets ahead of us. We rejoin the track, and it's just been with no fault of our own this time. It's the DRS that is stuck open, and it's forced us to spin. And here is the replay. As you can see, DRS is wide open. We're out of shape, and we just come into the corner, and we're in a spin, and that's a complete shambles for what could have been a podium position today. It's now turned into P5. Luckily, we haven't lost any more places, but in the background you can see in just a second that Ricciardo or Verstappen, I think it is Max Verstappen, is behind us now. So we got to watch out for him, as he'll be looking to close in with us in an ailing car at the moment. P5. It's just a complete disaster. It was looking so good, but this time it's the team's fault. That well, not necessarily the team's fault, but not necessarily. It's definitely not my own fault that the DRS has been stuck open. So this time I can say that it wasn't my fault that I've lost the points, but we are looking to carry on now in P5. Luckily it's there's a problem with Hulkenberg as well. My radio has just told me, but that's not really relevant to us because Hulkenberg is further down the order, and we're not in a fight with Renault in the championship either. But this is could be points that we could be vital at the end of the season. If we finish just a couple of points behind Haas, it will be down to this error between the mechanical area. But we're coming around the last corner now then, with the DRS still stuck open with just 4 laps to go. What can we do? We're just going really slowly. We're losing time to Bottas, keeping ahead of Verstappen. He's slowly starting to close in though by the looks of it. We're not really too sure what's going on. Can it close? Is it going to close? Close up again? We would love it if it could, but at the moment we're just going to have to deal with it and hopefully soldier on in this position. It's something I've never even happened on this game before, not even on the older games either. So this is the first time I've had this issue happen to me, It was quite bizarre. Normally DRS is stuck closed and you can't open it, but I've never had it stuck open. But now then, we're moving on to lap 12, and as you can see there, it was closed. So the DRS is now closed, and we're able to drive normally, and we can close in on the end of this race, which is 2 laps to go. We can look like we're going to settle for P5 if Verstappen is not closed in on us. Still, we're starting where I finished by the looks of it at this stage. So 10 points wouldn't be necessarily too bad, not the end of the world, but it could have been potentially 12 points, which would have been a great result for us. Not going to get on that podium again like we did a while back in, I think it was France. Yeah, but Raikkonen then has taken the lead. So Raikkonen's got past Hamilton. So Hamilton going a bit backwards, or Raikkonen going forwards. Ferrari were the strongest team coming into this weekend, and to have Mercedes winning would have been a bit of a disaster. We would like to be fighting with the Ferrari and Mercedes at some point in the future. Not sure how close it will be. It depends if the Ferraris and Mercedes can actually stay at the top, because you never know what will happen next season at this stage. Which is something I'm quite looking forward to seeing, where we will end up at the start of next season, which will give us a good platform to see whether we can fight for the title next season or whether we'll be in mid-table again. But at the start of the season, we were effectively backmarkers with Williams and Toro Rosso, but as the season progressed, we've been joining the midfield, and we've been fighting with the likes of the McLarens, the Hasses, the Renaults, and the Force Indias. McLaren's not so much necessarily. It's mainly been Alonso we've been fighting with, but there's also been races where we've been fighting with the Red Bulls as well, because there's a lot of races where they tend to be the third best car, and we can actually put our car quite high up in the grid, which is what we have done a few times this season. But we tend to have problems in the race, which makes us not stay up there, including this race, which well, we've been better than the Red Bulls this race. I don't know where Ricciardo is, but Verstappen's in P6, and he's not really being a problem with us as we come on to the last lap, which is ideal for us. But at the end of the day, we are now behind. We can still finish ahead of Haas in the championship, which is what we're aiming to do now, as we end this race then in P5 with ourselves gaining 10 points on Haas. I don't know where my teammate is at this stage, but wherever Kevin Magnussen and Grosjean are, we're going to get definitely more points than them at this stage, because I think Perez is in P7, but we have done really well in this race, because we've only just come around the last couple of corners, and the leader still hasn't crossed the line yet. So it could have been potentially a podium for us today, but it wasn't to be, as Raikkonen then is the race winner, and Vettel actually closed in a lot on those guys. So Vettel really could have won today. He had the pace to win, but a poor start and being stuck behind us for a bit as well. But we crossed the line in P5. We're happy with that, despite the DRS staying open for a few laps. It was a good result and a good race. In P5 is going to be crucial 10 points for us in the championship, which could move us ahead of Haas. We should see then at the end of this race where we are in the drivers and constructors, because we could be the best of the rest as well if we get enough points. I think Carlos Sainz is currently P7.
So here they come,
but here we are then, coming onto the podium. It's Raikkonen, Hamilton, and then Vettel in P3. So Vettel did recover to P3 then at the end of that race, with Hamilton finishing P2. But it'll be interesting to see how the championship is looking, with Grosjean finishing P8, Magnussen P10, so Leclerc P9, so that is 12 points to Haas's 5. So we've gained solid 7 points again on Haas, which is ideal for us. So we could look at the championship. I think that moves us ahead of them. We're P8, so we're close to, we're only 7 points behind Carlos Sainz, and yes, we're ahead of Haas, and we are only 12 points behind Force India. So is that the next target, or are we going to be looking to stay in P6? We'll have to see how development goes towards the end of the season. But that is going to be the end of the episode there. We're up into P6 in the Constructors now. Great news for us. Can it be P5, or will it stay P6, or will it end up P7? Who knows? We'll find out in the next couple of episodes. It'll be the Japanese Grand Prix next, guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for round 17 in Japan. Thank you.